All right, so there is quite a lot for us to do for this one and quite a lot of reading. So let's have a read through and see what we need to do for this question. Ali is preparing for a race. He runs a lap around a football pitch to prepare for the race. The length of each lap is the total distance along the 4 edges of the pitch. Ali needs to run at least 10 kilometers. What is the minimum number of complete laps Ali should run? Okay, let's stop there and have a think. So he's going to run laps around the football pitch. So it's going to help us if we know how far it is all the way around the outside. So how far does he run if he runs 1 lap? Well, that's going to be 90 plus 75 plus 90 plus 75. So 1 lap is going to be all those things added together. So we come over to the calculator and we're going to add up 90 plus 75 plus 90 plus 75. So copy it to the working box because we need to show everything we're doing. So we've worked out that 1 lap is 330 meters. So that's meters because we added up a load of meters. Now that's how far 1 lap is, but we know that Ali needs to run at least 10 kilometers. Now it's going to be really tricky if we're trying to compare meters and kilometers, so we need to convert them to the same units. I'm going to choose to convert this 10 kilometers into meters because I think it'll be easier. Key bit of info is that 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So if you take the number of kilometers and times by 1,000, that turns it into meters. So we're just going to quickly turn this 10 kilometers into meters by doing 10 kilometers times 1,000. That's what it is in meters. So it's a big number, but that's telling us that 10 kilometers is 10,000 meters. So where are we at? We know that 1 lap is 330 meters, and we know he needs to go 10,000 meters. So the next thing I need to work out is how many 330s does it take until you've made 10,000? So how many 330s are in 10,000? And just thinking about what I'm asking there, how many 330s are in 10,000? That means we've got to do a divide. I'm going to take 10,000 and divide it into 330s to see how many 330s are in 10,000, because that's how many laps he's going to do before he's gone a total distance of 10,000 meters. And this is the answer. So it looks weird, but that tells us that he's going to need to do 30.303030 laps in order to get to 10,000 meters. But a couple of things. Ali needs to run at least 10 kilometers, so it's fine if he goes a bit further. And the question actually says, what's the minimum number of complete laps Ali should run? If we rounded this down to 30, he hasn't gone 10,000, he hasn't gone far enough. But if we go up to 31 laps, then he will have done at least 10 kilometers. So the minimum number of complete laps he should run is 31. Because if he runs 31 laps, he'll have gone over by a little bit, but that's fine. He can't go under because he needs to do at least 10 kilometers. Now part B asks us to show a check of our answer. We've got 2, I would say, nice calculations here that will be easy for us to check. Sorry, it's... oh, excuse me. Weird. The bottom calculation, or maybe this middle calculation, are the ones that are easiest for us to check. I would say it's harder for us to check the first calculation we did because it's quite long. We've added up 4 different numbers. So I'm going to suggest we check this middle calculation where we did 10 times 1,000. Now when we do a reverse calculation, I'm going to just separate it out and put it in the working out box as well. Typically, I think reverse calculation is the nicer way of doing a check. And what we do is we start with our answer. So over on the calculator, we do 10,000. And instead of timesing by 1,000, which is what we did in the calculation originally, we're going to divide by 1,000. And hopefully the answer will be 10. And if it is 10, then we've checked and it was right. It is 10, which means our original calculation was correct. Now it would be fine if I put that in the answer box. So I'm going to put 10,000 divided by, I'm just going to use a slash for divide by 1,000 equals 10. But I just want to talk about what would happen if we try to check the second one. So the second calculation that we could have checked was this one here. And if we do a reverse calculation, then what we do is we start with the answer, which is 30.303030. Instead of dividing by 330, we times by 330, Do we get 10,000? Not quite. But the only reason you don't get 10,000, you're so close to it there, the only reason you don't quite get 10,000 is just because of rounding. So it would be fine to do a check that way and say, yes, your answer was right, because this is 10,000, you know, it's the only reason it's not exactly 10,000 is just because of rounding in the original answer. So anyway, to do a check of your work, it's a reverse calculation you want to do. There were two potential candidates for reverse calculations. I don't think it would have made sense to check this one because it's just too many steps, which means we've got to check one of those either the second or third thing we did. Either would be fine, and that's a check of your answer. Cool, hope that all makes sense. That's the end of this paper. Good stuff, very nice. Thank you very much.